All right, so this is just a quick run through on the difference between legal and letter size for building your bridge. Now, the first thing you're gonna have to do is go onto the website and you're gonna have to find outputs, okay, and then your design specifications. This is also how you decided to figure out if it was in spec or not. So once you find that and look at that, hopefully you can print that out. What you're gonna get is a sheet that says design specifications, and the important stuff is the length, width, height, and span. So you can see those are my designed distances. So 300 millimeters or 30 centimeters. I would convert everything into centimeters right away. I have 8 centimeters. I have 44.3 centimeters, and I have 20 centimeters, okay? So this is a bridge I just threw together really quickly. I wouldn't recommend making this, but it's just to kind of show you what's going on. So these numbers are important if you're going to use the letter size, and if you're using the legal size, it's not as important because it'll print out to the correct specifications. So to start here, there are two different types. There is legal and there is letter. So if we look at legal, you're going to notice it looks like your bridge. Right? If I look at letter, what I'm going to see is half of my bridge with some lines in here. So the first one I'll go through is legal. Now, if you're going to use the legal one, what you need to do first is you need to measure how long it is. So I'm going to measure this with my ruler. I sent everyone a ruler, so I'm going to measure to here and make a mark. I've got 20 centimeters. And then I measure again. And I've got another, let's see here, 3.3. So that's a total of 23. I should make this a marker. 23.3 centimeters is what it actually measures. It's supposed to be 30 centimeters. Okay, and I know it's supposed to be 30 centimeters from my design sheet. Okay, so 30 centimeters, 300 millimeters, or 30 centimeters. So to figure out what my ratio is, excuse me, I take my actual over what it should be. So what that's going to equal is 23.3 divided by 30 to give me 0.78. This right here is my conversion factor. So what I'll do is I'll take all of my measurements from here on out and divide them by that number. So if I take 23.3 and divide it by 0.78, it's going to give me roughly 30 centimeters. All right, let's say that I wanted to figure out how far it is from this end to this end, so I know where I'm supposed to put my first brace. I would measure, and I've got a distance here of 4.7 centimeters. Okay. I divide it by this number, 0.78, and I get an answer of 6 centimeters. So on my bridge, my actual bridge, the distance from here to here is going to be 6 centimeters. Okay, so you're gonna have to do a lot of measuring and those types of things as you cut through, and you can measure vertically, and you can do all of those and do your conversions, and that should give you the correct answers. So you're gonna see I also have a picture of the floor, okay, and then it's got a picture of my cross braces on the top. Now, if I'm using the letter size or the letter printout, it's only 2 more sheets of paper, and it's significantly better because I have these lines. So what I do is I can just take a scissors and I would cut along this line right here, excuse me, like so. So I'm just going to cut along this line. Try and be as specific as possible or as careful as possible when you go across the bridge. Above and below isn't as big a deal. So I've now cut this in half. I have a junk piece. Okay, this piece right here is garbage. I can throw that. And then I have the other piece, which is good. And what I'll do then as you can see, I have this other side of the bridge. I can line them up using the dotted line. The better job you do of lining up, the better your bridge will be. So I'm going to line them up. Okay, there's lots of different lines to look at, and then I'm just going to place a piece of tape there on the bottom and the top. And now I have this taped together, as you can see. Now this is the actual bridge. So what you can do if you've done this is, I'm going to just switch out here quick. Is you can take your balsa wood that you've been supplied and you can just place it right onto your bridge, right onto the drawing. Now before you do any gluing, what you're going to want to do is put some tape down. I'm not sure if you can really see it here, but I've taken some regular Scotch tape and I've just covered my bridge. Okay, and the reason I want to do that is because then when I apply my glue, it won't stick to the paper. It should not stick to the tape, so then your bridge will not break apart. But what you'll do then is you've made this bridge, okay, and we're just going to line this up. You're going to want to be really careful, try and be as specific as possible. All right, and then I have, let's see here, right about here. Okay, that's where I need to cut. So I've made a line there. And then I'll just take a knife. Razor blades typically work the best. And I will cut that. And now what you're going to notice is that I have a piece that fits perfectly on the bottom of my bridge. You can do the same thing then, as I could take a piece of balsa, all right, and I would maybe line it up like so to figure out that length. And I could cut that one. And I've cut one over here as well. The top isn't quite ready. And then I've cut the top. So you're going to see is this is all out of one piece of balsa wood. Is I've got the whole thing all the way around. Now, once you're ready to glue, what I would recommend doing is just getting a small piece of tape. And again, if you have tape down on the sheet of paper like I'm applying right now, when you tape your balsa wood down, it won't stick. So I'm going to line this up really carefully here, and I'm just going to put a piece of tape over there so it just holds it where I need it to be. Now, if I wanted to put some at the edges as well, put down some tape. Oh, it didn't work too well. Like so. Line up so it's on the line where you need it to be. Right there. And over here, same thing. Right there. And I want to make sure that this part isn't interfering with that, because I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to glue it. So when you're gluing, you don't want to use a ton of glue. I've just put a little bit here. I'm just getting some glue on here. Make sure there's a nice amount. And then you can see I've got, it doesn't want to focus, a good amount of glue there. And then you're going to take it and you're going to place it where you want it to be. This is an important part. And then once you have it where you want it to be, you just let it sit. Maybe I want to do the top as well. I'll show you one more time here. I'm just loading up some glue on there. And okay, not the best idea to do it in this way, but Not too bad. So there we go. So now that's glued on top. And then I could even do another edge if I wanted. If I had finished cutting this properly, I could shove that in there and let it sit. And then you'll just let the bridge sit and dry. Probably give it a couple of hours or maybe an hour. I don't know. It depends how long it takes the glue to dry. And then when you're done, you can remove the pieces of tape and you should be able to just pick this up. You might have to be careful so it might be stuck to the tape a little bit, but it should be okay. And you can remove that. What I would do then is I would make this border. Okay, once you have the border made, I wouldn't remove the bridge yet. And then I would go back and I would cut my pieces, maybe for my verticals, and put those in. Glue those in and let those dry. And then I'd put in your ones that are going at angles. And once you've done that, then you can remove the whole bridge. And it's going to take time to do this, so make sure you give yourself plenty of time to do this. You can't just whip this bridge out in one day. It's going to take multiple days. You're going to need a place to put it. You know, maybe you need to have a book or two that you can tape this piece of paper onto, or some wood or whatever it may be. Here's what the bottom would look like. Yeah, I would cut that then, overlap, and you can do multiple ones at the same time. You can have this side, you could print out 2 of these and have another one, however you want. Make sure you use your time wisely or you are going to run out of time. And for this project, what you are going to have to do is take pictures as you're progressing and submit those. So please, please, please make sure you're using your time wisely. And I hope you can do well.